Am I wrong for disguising myself as an Uber driver to pick up my husband and his side piece after their vacation? I, a 34-year-old woman, have been married to James, a 36-year-old man, for 8 years. Our marriage hasn't been perfect, but I always thought we had a solid foundation. That is, until I found out that James had been cheating on me with a younger woman, Sophie, who is 26 years old. The worst part? He took her on a work trip to the Caribbean that I thought he was going on alone. I discovered the affair through a text message he left open on his laptop. He was careless, as cheaters often are, and left a string of messages between him and Sophie planning their little getaway. I was devastated, but instead of confronting him immediately, I decided to get creative. James was set to return on a Sunday, so I spent the weekend preparing. My best friend Lena works at a local theater and is a makeup artist. I asked her to help me with a disguise. She turned me into a completely different person. Blonde wig, fake glasses, contouring to change the shape of my face, and makeup to cover my tattoo. I barely recognized myself. Then I rented a car and signed into Uber under a different friend's profile. I timed it perfectly so that I would be the one to pick them up from the airport. The moment they walked toward the car, I felt a surge of adrenaline. "James?" I said as I rolled the passenger window down. He glanced down at his Uber app. "Janine?" he confirmed. I nodded and the plan began to unfold. James didn't even look twice at me as he and Sophie got into the back seat, chatting about their trip. I started driving, keeping my voice calm and neutral. After a few minutes, I glanced in the rearview mirror and said, "You look really familiar. Have we met before?" James just shrugged, but Sophie giggled. "You probably get that a lot," she said, completely oblivious. But I wasn't done yet. After a few more minutes of small talk, I acted like something clicked. "Oh wait, you're Jessica's husband, right? We went to college together. When did you guys divorce?" James looked at me in the mirror, still not recognizing me at all. Yeah, that's me. When's the last time you talked to Jessica?" Sophie frowned and leaned forward. "Who's Jessica?" she asked, her tone sharp. James stammered, trying to come up with a quick lie. "Just my ex." I pretended to think about it. "I just saw Jessica last week at a coffee shop, and she was talking about plans for your upcoming anniversary," I said. I watched James squirm. I dropped them off at Sophie's apartment, and as they walked away, I smiled to myself. He still didn't have a clue who I was. A few days later, I served him divorce papers and moved out. Sophie dumped him too, realizing he wasn't the man she thought he was. To this day, James still has no idea that his scorned wife was the Uber driver who picked him up after his romantic getaway. Am I wrong for taking revenge in such a dramatic way instead of just confronting him?